Welcome to the Dragon's Tome. This is a very serious episode of Dragon's Tome, episode 166. We're talking about Dragon Magazine 166. We're going
I've
through
had enough shenanigans.
Stop your shenanigans.
We
Uh,
haven't even started yet. How can we have any more shenanigans than zero?
Well, in the past.
Oh, okay. I see. Rob, continue.
we're going through every Dragon Magazine chronologically, and we're at 166, it seems. This is a issue I had and I loved, so I'm going to have a lot to talk about. It's February 1991. I was in high school,
I was
hanging out
not. I was in college.
hanging out with a certain little fella who's above me right now. That guy. And I had this issue, yeah. It's the cover is an alien hunter by E.M. Gooch. The Gooch.
I remember seeing this in the store because it reminded me of the Thing movie.
Yes, the cover to the Thing. Yeah, where it's just the
Yeah.
silhouette with the light. Yeah, that's probably what influenced him, I would think. It's cool. It's minimalist, but I like it. Yeah, it's good light effects. You can't really say much about details, but that's not the point.
Yeah. But you can see the Thing's eyes on the beast, which I thought was cool.
The Thing in his tusks. And yeah, he's got some kind of laser rifle.
It's
And you
very,
think, why, this should have nothing to do with Dragon Magazine, but this magazine is about the future. So it is
The future.
I
tied in.
just want to know why Galactus is riding an animal.
Galactus. He does have a little Galactus head. Yeah.
It does. Like if Galactus and a knight from
Well, I was saying Hearn the Hunter.
From Wizards.
I'm thinking Monty Python.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
This
knight
is
and the
very.
wizard mated.
Oh,
Let's start this show.
shoo.
You gotta
And
get 10 minutes in before you start with the profanities.
that's
You
right.
need
We got to get that ad revenue, which you don't get. Let's just start with Patrick. What is your first article?
All right, let's go with 12. I know that's probably your article too.
They're all in my articles because I love this magazine.
So this is Wired Ready. This is running a cyberpunk style RPG campaign. It's really basically just notes on how to run a cyberpunk RPG. I'm assuming it's coming from a place where he doesn't use the source material because
I was just
Cyberpunk
gonna
and
say,
Shadowrun has a lot of source material for creating your own campaign. But he does take you through a step by step on how to shape your campaign if you don't want to use any of the source material. You know, you're gonna
mm-hmm.
pick your background. You're gonna pick what kind of campaigns happen in your world. There's a police state. There's things like that, and so forth. What kind of technology? But it's cyberpunk, so of course you're gonna be talking the types of technology you see there. What kind of atmosphere is your cyberpunk world gonna be like? So it's just it's if I guess if you're coming straight from scratch, you're just gonna use the mechanics of Cyberpunk or Shadowrun, and you want to create your own little world. This is a nice article to get you going. It kind of walks you through it. He does say that you should read certain type or get familiar with the cyberpunk genre in itself. There's a couple books he lists.
They all
How
look
to read
important.
and some movies like he says you should watch the Clockwork Orange to get kind of that dystopian
Blade
future
Runner.
feel. Yeah, Blade Runner 2. So it's nice little information, but it's hard for me to want to go through all this effort when Shadowrun and Cyberpunk have such a plethora of
Yeah,
source
it's a
material.
really detailed world already.
Yeah,
It's good if you're
Jack-
playing like
Jack
GURPS or one of
disagrees.
those.
GURPS might be a better option for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
My consternation comes from Shadowrun we played for years, where the cyberpunk was great.
I'd like to say it's probably our DM's fault.
That could be too. He leaned more into cyberpunk as a high adventure rather than the way it's described here with the cybernetics being, getting onto a, the yeah. You know what I'm saying?
If you played the any of the Shadowrun video games, it's a lot more balanced and a lot more fun.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
fun. It was fun we played, but I mean, yeah, he definitely we didn't. It was much more just Cyberpunk. It wasn't so much Shadowrun we played. I agree.
no, see, that's the wrong way.
We
to
didn't
play
fight.
shit.
We didn't fight. Like there wasn't a lot of shamans. There wasn't a lot of magic. Magic back then was really hard to play too. So I think he
It
just
was
didn't
pretty
want to deal
crappy.
with it.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, but we did.
This was
use it, we
first
did make
edition,
it work.
so yeah,
I will say that the second edition it got better.
yeah.
Uh,
But this was
I will say
fresh
that
off
the guys that
the
I-
boat. Not
Yeah.
good.
I will say our group, because I was the guy who ran Shadowrun. Our group, if you played, everyone gravitated towards a certain class, like we just talked about last week. And again, my friend Don, RIP Don, he gravitated towards playing shamans a lot, so he knew that magic system back.
see.
So we didn't have hardly any problems because that was just sticking.
Yeah.
So
That would make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody we played. I was a rigger. Jack was a street samurai. Like it was like a lot of just fighters really. So we didn't have. I think somebody was a troll. I think he was a troll. And
Dave was an orc.
orc, yeah. And yeah, so we really were much more combat oriented than we were magic. So I think that just happened the way it is, and we never really. It was a lot of.
I think the only thing that we stayed away from, because until at least third edition, Cyber or the Matrix was
Oh yeah,
even
still
worse
isn't
than
good.
Magic.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
And I don't
think
think it got better. I don't even think
It's
it
not.
got usable until third edition.
even Cyberpunk, the Matrix, the net running in red is a little bit better, but generally it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
which I was trying to avoid by saying like the magic system wasn't great. The net running, I remember like there was you met Black Ice, this, that, the rest of the table's just sitting there going,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like
Yeah.
it was a limitation in the game, but then I was dancing around it, but Rob then came out and said, hey, DM probably didn't want to do that. That's why we didn't do it.
Oh.
He didn't
Yeah.
want to handle that.
Hey, with us,
I do know
I
that-
run Cyberpunk Red. I do not run net running because it's a pain in the ass and it's boring for
I do
everybody
will
else.
say that when
NPC
when,
job.
when they changed the rules to integrate the Matrix and net running in with segments of combat or
Yeah.
playing, so no one was sitting off waiting for someone to do their turn.
That's what
You
Red
did-
does
you
now
did-
too. Yeah.
You did your net running when your segment came up.
Yeah. It's not like it was a whole because originally net running was so fast, it was a whole other adventure, and then that would happen. Then you do then the guys would happen because
Yeah, or
it
you'd
was just-
have to
yeah,
hold a
it was
separate thing with
Yeah.
someone off to the side, and everyone else just sat around scratching their butt.
From my point of this article though is it's at the end here. He does have like what is it 5 points that are really good about just generally how to make it feel better. Like it's not about setting; it's more like make how the feel of the game should be. So it's like
Yes.
make it feel real and sharp, very detailed, keep it moving fast, always something happening.
Life should be rough because it's
Yeah,
you know,
paranoia, betrayal, threats, and it's just the way of life. Atmospheric, like you know, that's the beauty of those cyberpunk novels. They're always describing the sky looks like a channel
will say,
turned to
though,
static.
one of the things that why this article is just kind of for me is that you don't really jump into cyberpunk genre unless you love the cyberpunk genre.
Well, or you're forced to from friends.
Yeah. Or if it's their turn to run a game.
But if you're forced to,
or
if
they
you're
want
forced
Shadowrun.
to, if you're forced to because of friends, you're not the one running it, so you don't have to do this.
Yeah. If you're running it, you're definitely into the game. Yeah. And last thing he says is to use all the slang, which is cyberpunk is known for its slang. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that as much because that's kind of cheesy, but still. Anyways, good article.
And I know when our friend Charlie bought Shadowrun, he bought, I don't remember exactly what he saw an ad for it and he went all in.
Did he?
Like he was like, I love
That
this.
was me.
Like it's like someone would today with a Kickstarter, which probably not the proper analogy, but when you're just like, okay, yeah, give it all to me.
Yeah, that was me with Shadowrun. It took me like, eh.
Yeah, so he was in from the get go.
I still am in. I mean, that's I don't know why we don't play it. Mainly because I think I wanted to get that horror Orient Express going because I wanted to finish that campaign.
Yeah, we're
I've
still
never finished it.
really far into that game.
No, we're halfway done.
Yeah.
Well,
we're halfway
been-
there. Living on a
It's been
prayer.
6 months,
Yeah.
so I think I play a small, I think a halfling thief named Fat Billy. Is that who I'm playing?
Yes,
It's been so long.
Okay.
he's a Kender, and
Uh,
since
I forgot.
died.
I forgot I was in charge of this. So, Jack, what is your first article? I was like, why isn't the
waiting
host
for-
like telling us to move on here?
I was never in charge of this. Better get this.
I was. I was like literally like, what the fuck, guys? Why are we blathering on?
you're just nattering at this
I was
point.
like, I don't want to speak up. I'm always the one to take charge. I don't want to do it. And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to.
And now the one time he's in charge, he doesn't want to take charge.
It's true. It's true.
And it's funny because my buddy had a birthday last weekend, and we were all together, and everyone gives Rob the gears for being the one who's always in charge. So every time he lashed out angrily, like, "We're not doing that right now," you're like, Rob. And then finally he was like, "Okay, I'll change my ways."
I'm just trying to change my ways, and I was changing my ways here. I was letting it go, and I didn't change my ways.
And this,
Anyway.
this is the villain arc.
Yeah,
that,
that's right.
This
is what happens.
Yes,
He's in the repentant stage of the villain arc, and then he'll soon grow bitter of that. And
then I'll come back with a vengeance.
But for now, we're in the golden era of his anti-hero.
Hey man, just go, man. Just whatever will be. Jack, go.
Yeah.
Please pick a number.
Oh, okay. So
pick a
we're
number
doing
between
what?
1 and 16. 1 and 116.
We're doing ads already. Okay. No. Page 41, please.
This is probably one of my
no. This is our first article, right?
It is our first article.
Second article.
No, it's our first.
I haven't done one yet.
No, this is your first article.
This is like a Jack episode.
It
What's
is.
going on here?
It's because I forgot I was in charge.
Wow. Okay. First article, 67, please.
Oh, you have an actual order to your articles?
I do because
well, spoilers. We know what his next article is.
It's tactical. I try not to step on anyone's toes. I try to do the important ones, and I try to. But okay.
This is one of mine.
Well, thank you. Right after I said I try not to step on anyone's toes.
Well, the other one was mine, Jack. So it's okay. The other one was mine. So you're gonna step on someone's toes either way. So.
I try not to. More pages from the Archmages. This is arcane lore, and it is normally this is from our friend and compatriot, the fourth unofficial host, Dr. Ed Greenwood. But this is by someone named Scott Waterhouse.
R.I.P. Scott.
Yeah, I hope people
he changed his name
to. Go to your grave and...
I was going to say he changed his name to Amy, and he joined the 27 Club.
Oh,
that's Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse.
I know.
Okay, that's a better riff. Pretend I didn't go with mine. We're going to go with his. So
they're both bad.
let's go back. Rob, do you want to go to rehab?
No, I ain't going to rehab.
No, thank you. So. These are traditionally a list of spell books. This one has 3 books. I like the layout. It gives the a big, almost like you would in a old style tome with the uppercase. So you can see, well, that's one book, that's the next, that's the book. Each book has its own theme. They're spell books, so it gives a history, then it gives like, hey, it's got these spells in it from the books. So like you're going to get like fireballs or whatever.
And also all the pictures above it are what the book looks like, or what they all have like a theme to what the actual book is.
Right, because the manual site, and it's got bats over the top, and one of the spells inside is like an echolocation type spell. And without beating a dead horse, if you want 3 fully fleshed out history, appearance, what's in it, tomes of spells.
I like to call them legendary tomes.
They are here, and you can't complain. When Rob owned this one, so like he probably poured over these things. This is the article that I would be like, yes, I got my money's worth when I'm reading through here. There's a lot.
There's some good spells in there. Dark Sense is a good one. It makes you be like Daredevil.
Daredevil.
You get to see via your ears.
like that time Iron Fist said, "Hey, you pretend to be blind for your superhero identity," and he was like, "No, I really am blind." And he's like, "Oh,
No.
cool." And then
And then he's
what
like,
do you say after that?
because he's like, oh, I know another blind martial arts guy named Stick. Oh yeah, he used to beat me.
Right. How do we know the same obscure reference? And then
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh, cool."
There's a spell in the Milcibus Codex, the Arcane Contention. When I was reading this spell, I was like, this reminds me of the duel between Egg Shen and Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China.
Still haven't seen it.
They just do their thing at each other, and
Yeah, and then they fight via that. That's what this spell does. It lets you to make a pair of mages. You fight each other that way.
oh, yeah, it was more like this. That's right.
Yeah. Well, Lo Pan was this way, and then Egg Shen had the gem.
Yeah. Anyways, fun times. I guess it's me, my first article. There's so many. I'm gonna go for page 8. We'll go to the editorial. This is from I think it's from it's from Dale A. Donovan this time. It's not the Roger Moore one, but it's talking about how he played mostly just TSR games. Obviously, they work for TSR, but he decided that he wanted to list all his favorite non-TSR games. So he goes through and lists them all and has little notes about each one. And I just want to go through them all because he's some funny things about says so. So first one he mentions is Traveler, and he says it's lethal in galaxy spanning and very crunchy, which we all knew. And if you're into hard sci-fi, that's one you want to play. But if you're into more fun sci-fi, he talks about Star Wars, obviously.
Then he goes game Star Wars.
Yep. And then Cyberpunk, he really likes Cyberpunk because of the life path system, which at the time was brand new and nobody ever did it. Now that everybody does
That's
it.
true. Yeah.
Everybody does life paths now, but at the time that was like groundbreaking. Call of Cthulhu, once again, something that everybody kind of does now, but he says the sanity system in that is pretty cray-cray, and obviously that is a major thing in Call of Cthulhu. Chill, he says good for modern horror. DC 2nd Edition, he says it's smooth, well-defined game, simple character creation, which unlike the review of the last game guy gave us, it sounds like he actually likes DC superheroes. Champions, he says it's a detailed game, long character creation, and very crunchy. So probably not something people have fun with. Did you play Champions, Pat?
I did. And you want to talk about crunchy. It's probably the crunchiest game I ever played.
Yeah, so fun times. Space 1889, we've seen the ads for that quite a bit. He says it's a rich setting. He doesn't use the word steampunk, and I was like, that's weird. Obviously, you described this as steampunk. I looked it up. Steampunk was invented in 1987, so only 3 years before this. So obviously, it wasn't in the lexicon of describing things. So that's funny, eh? Yeah,
that is funny. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
without the blistering pace in which things happen now with social media, like silly phrases or terms or genres wouldn't just become like worldwide. Some people were talking about steampunk, and he's over here going, "What would I call that?"
Yeah, I guess some science fiction author who's in the genre defined it in 1987, but obviously it's only 3 years later, and that's just some science fiction author. But the steampunk genre, I didn't know it was that recent. Next game he talks about is a certain little game. This is why I told you to save it, Jack. Torg, multi-genre, weird he calls it. But then he talks about Rifts.
But I think he also says that it's like the best or first true multi-genre RPG.
Yeah, he says it's first one. Yep. And then Rifts is the next one, which he says there's 30 character classes and it's for experienced gamers only. And cause later on, I have another article that expand on these things. Ars Magica, simple but long character creation, slow combat. It's magic, all about magic. So if you're doing combat, and lastly, he talks about Warhammer fantasy role playing game. He says it's very grim and very too simple combat. I've never played any of those other ones really. So.
Did he say it was grim and dark?
No, he never mentioned the dark part. I wonder if they didn't call it grimdark yet.
It's 2 years before the grimdark.
You didn't research that? We know when steampunk became in the lexicon, but grimdark? No? Okay.
I hate 40K.
Seems half-assed to me, but
this is fantasy role-playing.
Anyways, yeah, it was a fun little editorial going through all the different game systems that are very popular at the time. And I've played, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 6 of them. So that's not bad.
Did you get to the center of that Tootsie Pop?
The center was riffs, unfortunately.
Hooray!
Yeah, he started to get that tone. He started that.
Well, anytime you count, you have to say it
One,
like that. Unless you're counting like a count. Yeah.
2,
1,
3.
blah, blah, blah. 2, blah, blah, blah.
Ah.
Anyways, fun little thing. Who are we up to? We're back to Patrick. What do you got for your second?
Let's go to 22.
I don't speak Latin.
What that would be 50 what?
22.
Yeah.
Oh, Vandu.
A
That's
clown.
Clone of your own.
Vandu.
Vandu, yeah.
Basically, this is adding clones to Auto Duel, which is the RPG version for Car Wars for Steve Jackson Games. It's a GURP system. Never played it, but it does have a nice little set of rules and stuff that you can use. It's all set into the story's set into like a sports guy talking over a car accident from the Auto Duel, and then going through the different, cutting to the doctors, cutting to the managers and things like that. Of this, what's the word for it? Professional driver getting back alive via his clone. So it gives you different sets of rules and different kind of things that you can happen when you become re-alived with a clone in Auto Duel. It's got a list of different psychiatric problems you can pick up by accident, and different ways how you store your memory to be able to put it back into your clone, because you can get your clone, but if you don't have money to store your memory, then your clone starts over from day one, and things like that. And then the one thing I did like, and which made me kind of put into it, is that it gives you the medical vehicles. The Gold Cross is the name of the company that furnishes you with clones. It gives you the stats and stuff of the different vehicles that the Gold Cross would use that you can use in Car Wars.
Yep. It's a fun little thing. It reminded me of Paranoia when I first saw it. I was like, this looks like Paranoia.
Yeah.
I had the exact same. I don't know if it was the art style or the way it was, the irreverent writing style, but I thought, oh, this is for Paranoia for sure.
Yeah.
But if you were an Auto Duel fan or GURPS, or even a Car Wars fan, this is a nice little addition to your game if you needed it.
Yeah. So that when your character died, which happened quite a bit on Car Wars, you could actually keep your character around.
Yeah.
Fun.
So, but that's all I got.
Jack, what is your first article? I think I can guess. Is it going to be on page 41?
Now, how did you remember that? You don't remember the people who watch this show and take the time.
I remember about strip clubs before I was born, and this.
Okay, well, yes, please. Let's go to 41. The game Wizards.
This is one of mine, but I have lots.
With the game Lizards. Oh, that's how you remember. Okay, young Timothy Brown. Hopefully that's Clancy Brown's father. So you say there aren't enough players out there, eh?
You must be Canadian, eh?
This is could be. Maybe that's what resonated with me. Maybe that's what drew me. A pride in my people. We don't need to flag wave. We don't, we're just good, solid people that just don't want to be fucked with. That's all we ask, right? Looking back through Dragon Magazine, the editorial combat, the editorial Timothy has decided that a lot of people want to know, how do you teach someone how to play this game? I thought it was pretty simple. I know I could say a couple of words that would make Pat irate, and I think I will. Run a couple of episode zeros. Just
his face. He's
just
turning pink.
Through.
Yeah,
he doesn't care for it, but TSR has decided what they're going to release is a is a product called the Learning Pack, which isn't a new set of rules for D&D. And I have to stress this is for D&D. It's not for AD&D. It's for D&D.
D&D. The D&D, I think he puts it down as, right?
Just D&D.
The Learning Pack system is for newcomers. So if someone says, hey, I see what you guys are doing over here. I've always thought, I'd like to play, but I don't know, And for some reason, you can't just go, hey, sit down and let's do this. You have to say, okay, well, here you go. It's got cards. It's got a couple of cheat sheets that will let you, I want to do this. This is how this goes along. And it is designed in such a way that with the basic set, you would be able to teach someone to play in a way that rather than I've heard rote memory said for just is a term for just like reading a manual and understanding it. And I think this is a
visual
halfway between the two. You've got frame of reference in front of you. You got reference material, but you're also at the table. So I've never seen this product. I don't know how well it worked, but it looks like a kind of like a Cole's Notes in front of you while you were playing the game.
Wow. What it seems like, it's like flashcards you had in school for like math and stuff, but they're doing rules on it. I think what you're missing is it's not for someone, like he tries to play it like, oh, you should buy this if you're already playing so you could teach players. It's actually for people who never played before and for them to learn the game. That makes more sense, but yeah.
I trusted the author at his word,
but that's just because he knows that people reading this magazine aren't the target audience. So he's trying to sell to people reading this magazine, right? That's why he's describing it that way. But it's really for new players, is what it is. So that is why it's like, yeah, you won't need this, or will you? Because you want to teach new players. It's like, no, like Jack said, you just teach them, like you sit them down and you start playing the game and they get it within 2 seconds. And they say, how can I do this? And you say, yes. Or can I do this? No, you can't do that. Or how do I do this? And you explain how you do that.
Well, Timothy Brown, I hope you're not Clancy Brown's father. I hope the worst for you, because you are an unreliable narrator. I trusted you, and thankfully my boy Bob's got my back.
Yeah, I saw through his sham. But
I was gonna pick which shell the ball was under, and you went, "Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's a trick.
Just keep walking. Just keep walking. Nothing's for free. That free cheese is in a trap."
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Worm. Oh, that doesn't make sense.
The Worm.
He does
You're
say
a
that.
Mean one, Mr. Worm.
He does say that new D&D. Stop! I can mute you. He does say that a new.
This isn't your show, though. You're not in charge, so I can do whatever I want.
A rules cyclopedia is coming out soon to revise D&D, and that's the rules cyclopedia that we see all the time.
I love that book. That rules cyclopedia is great.
It's got all the rules in it. See, I have the power. Yeah, that was one of mine. But so for my next article, I'm going to go to page 76. This is where we get to talk about a certain game, because it's role-playing reviews. I left it because I didn't know if Jack was going to choose this one, but it's not. It's reviews of Torg and Riffs. And this guy, it's Jim Bambra. Jim Bambra loves Torg, and he hates Riffs.
And we've played Riffs, and
we hate Riffs.
He's spot on. Everything. I was reading that going, yeah, Jim, you got it. You got it.
Yeah. For the Riffs, I'll skip to that one because we were talking about it. He says it's hard to read, confusing, and experienced players only. Like the layout on that and all the played-in books, the layout is horrible. It's always just walls of text. And
that's Palladium, right?
It's all like that.
They've never been laid out very well at all.
Yeah, so it is very poorly laid out books for Riffs. As for Torg, as we can see in Jack's beautiful hands, that looks like a real nice edition of it. He says quick, straightforward character creation. The drama deck, which is it's the deck of cards that Jack, I think it was last week, described falling over the floor.
Did you just get them all together, Jack, or are they still scattered in the box?
You use the drama deck for a lot of different stuff, like initiative, and also for other things in the game, which he thought was cool. And he said the gameplay is epic. You're playing like nearly superheroes in this world, and you're fighting all these different genres. It's the world has been shattered, and like all these different dimensions have like different areas in the world. So you have like in Egypt it's all pulp fiction, and in North America it's all like dinosaurs and stuff,
I do enjoy the Nile people.
and the in France it's all cyberpunk, and it's things like that. So yeah, it's really cool how they do it. And he says they have a system that's easy to compare different tech levels, so you can take tech levels from other things. And there's also a system that when you go into a different area, if you're like a high tech guy and you go into the low tech area, it really it affects how you play, because you could get some kind of like psychosis almost, where it's like you forget your high tech stuff, you start becoming native. It's kind of cool. It sounds like it's a really fun game, and maybe one day Jack will DM it for us. So
yeah, did we get the France book for you, Jack?
There again, last
so
week
many
I
books.
described it. It was a box. It was so heavy. Now I have a system in my household because I like to live Spartan. If something comes in the household, I have to get rid of something that size because I don't want clutter. I don't want stuff.
That's why I put it in a small box.
Well, it was a very heavy box. So
it was dense because I stuck everything in a small box.
But is it by weight or by volume?
I had to go by weight because it was my birthday when I received the package, so I had to guesstimate. Long and short of it is, I don't memorize every book, but there was about 100 books in that box. So I've flipped through. I wanted to start at the beginning and end at the end, so I've kind of. But I don't remember if there was a Paris, or France.
It might be called something different too.
I know there's an Nile one because that's the one I was interested in.
Yeah, it's the Indiana Jones pulp one.
Yeah, I didn't look at the other books that came in because it was a lot that we got for you.
Yeah, you were making it rain. So yes, again, until the year 2055, I'm good for gifts. No one needs to feel obligated to give me anything.
No one feels obligated. I don't feel obligated. Just FYI.
You are forbidden from gifts. Then
verboten.
My Germanic Spartan lifestyle overrides your Filipino need to celebrate birthdays with offerings. And Rob's Scottish. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I don't know.
He just wants to be part of the party.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff.
He does have a lot of stuff. But
see his books, not dissimilar to my bedroom.
No, his room is very much like that. But I think for the review, the big button that intrigued me the way he finished was that the characters are larger than life and willing to take and able to take on all comers. Like it's a high adventure. Your characters are like almost godlike.
What are they called? Storm Knights? I think they're called Storm Knights.
Storm Knights, yeah.
Whereas, say, a Rifts, it's not the same deal. And it's,
Rifts, you're playing drug users, and
yeah, you're fighting guys.
And it's dog heads. Yeah, you're eking out existence in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, so it's a different type of genre.
Yeah, I think you can tell which side of that he falls on. Mm-hmm. That's all.
But the way you described Torg, it sounded awesome, so I can't wait. And this time, the one thing he says about Torg is, there's not many books for it out yet, so obviously at this point there wasn't many supplements, but we know that quite a few came out, so I don't know what you have or what you're missing, so we'll have to see what you're missing and make sure you get every single Torg book. So next year.
There can't be anything missing.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
There's a few things, but I think you got most of the source books.
I'm amazed there's that many books for it because, like I said, we'd never heard of Torg before we saw these ads.
I was amazed how much there too, but I also do know that there are two equipment books. There's like light weapons, and then there's a heavy weapon, and each one has got their own book.
Yeah, and also there's a second edition Torg came out too, which we went for first edition Torg for you, Jack. So
yeah, we didn't. Well, no, I think we put both.
Is there both in there?
Yeah, the revised is the second edition, and the box set is the first edition.
Like I said, I wanted to start reading at the beginning, and I knew the cover, I knew the box set, so I started.
The box set's where you want to start because that's the first edition.
Which I did. Again, I opened it up and cards.
Well, how did you open it? Did you open it up upside down?
Jack opens everything upside down. He lays in bed and opens things.
I'm a big dumb farm animal. I got my big meat hooks on it and I pried it open. Yeah.
Pat, do you have any more articles?
I am done.
Jack, do you have any more articles?
How long has this show been going? Like
Quite a long time.
This might be the longest one. I've been unseated as the.
No, we're only a half an hour in, Jack. Just seems like a long.
Oh, okay. I'm good. I did my two.
Okay, we're going to go page 18, just because it's a BattleTech one.
I had another one, but you did it.
This one's how to make your mechs unique. It's giving your mechs like quirks. It's like a little thing called quirks, which eventually
I left this one for you.
Which is funny because now this is in the game. It's already in there. So at the time he's like, oh, all these mechs, they've described all this stuff and it's not actually in the game.
Yeah, and when BattleTech first came out, it was just pretty much generic. There was
it was kind of like fluff.
Yeah, but just everything was generic.
But now all these you can play with all these quirks. Not these quirks specifically, but all these mechs have quirks. So some mechs don't have hands. Some mechs don't have turrets. Like
my Battlemaster has no quirk.
Yeah.
But in reality, the Battlemaster has the worst heat management of all the mechs.
Wow, that's just because it's got a lot of weapons. But yeah, it's just a bunch of different things that these mechs that he read through all the technical readouts and was like, oh, it says this, so let's put some rules to it. And he gave us a bunch of different things that all these different mechs and fighters and vehicles can do. So it's kind of fun. It's Mike Specca. He did the work that eventually FASA does, or I don't think it's actually FASA. I think it's Catalyst eventually does it. So it never happens in the FASA era. So interesting.
I was going to say, I like this article. I thought it was, it made perfect sense. And I guess the powers that be went, yeah, this is a good article and makes perfect sense. And
I wouldn't be surprised the guys who in Catalyst, like, 15, 20 years later are like, oh, I read this article in Dragon back in the day. That was such a good idea. I think or they used it in their games maybe, and they're like, let's codify this and make it into actual books.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised. So
Mike Specca rolling in his grave right now.
WizKids implemented it in their clicky game.
Oh
no. There was things in Click Game, but not like this. Not like this. Other than that, let's go to page 96 because this is a funny one. Once again, it involves mechs. Because it's a mech saying eek because he's jumping up in the air, he's scared. And it's a rust monster. You wouldn't get that unless you knew about mechs and D&D. It's right up our alley. But this magazine, I poured over it my whole life because I had it, and it's one of my favorite ones. So it was a good one.
The one up top is also my favorite one.
Oh, you just because you're married. Let's go to ads then, guys.
Okay.
Jack, what's your first ad?
My only ad is page 86, please. We're going to 86 this show by going to 86. It's going to get sassy, people.
Oh,
we could go to the bottom here. Thunderbolt Mountain Miniatures. Now, last week, Rob was lamenting how lead was people were lamenting the fact that Rob lamented that people lamented that miniatures were moving away from lead. Look at the bottom, the small print warning: this product contains lead and should not be chewed or swallowed. So if you, in fact, thought, I'm going to buy this miniature of a wizard
to eat it.
He looks delicious, then
yes, you would die deliciously.
You are in for a world of hurt. Your $8 sorcerer will give you lead poisoning?
Yeah.
Yes. I think it just gives you insanity, doesn't lead poisoning?
I don't know. We have a doctor, the man who's treated many of your illnesses right here on the show. What is lead poisoning?
I don't know. I've never lead poisoned anyone.
We're asking Dr. Greenwood in the back, but he wasn't paying attention.
Or the unofficial, no.
Oh, I didn't realize he was. I thought he went out to get a drink.
He sits behind Jack's chair at all times, whispers to him. So
it takes a long time. I do know that lead poisoning does take a long time.
Yeah.
To get.
Yeah, I know. Because it used to be in paint, and kids would get the paint chips, and it used to be in all the plumbing in houses, and it used to be it's not good. I'm glad they moved away from it, but at this point in lives, I was using lead sinkers while I was fishing. Like, it wasn't.
Were you chewing on them? You probably were when you chew not to squeeze them together on the
I
wire.
don't know. I don't know if these were lead sinkers, but they were the ones that were shaped like Pac-Man. That you had the bite closed.
Those
That's
are lead.
Rob just made that reference, and
Yeah.
yeah, you're supposed to use some needle nose pliers, some needle knives, as I
Not
used to call
me.
them.
Right in the fucking molars.
Oh, of course.
Mhm.
Everybody did that. Every
Yep.
sinker anybody's ever had has teeth marks on it. Yeah. So Pat, what's your first ad?
All right, let's go to page 112.
112.
It's Ralpartha for Canadians.
Yes.
Why only Canada? And
It's
why
Rapham.
can't we Americans have CyberWorks?
Because it's Rapham in Cambridge, Ontario.
But it says right in the corner, Ralpartha for Canadians.
It's because they were the official, I think, distributor of Ralpartha in Canada.
I'm just saying, like, why can't we have CyberWorks in here?
You do.
In the States?
You have the real ones, not the knockoff ones.
So when I was reading the ad, I saw that in the corner. I was like, for Canadians, and because, as everyone knows, you two are Canadians. It was a nice little poke in the jaw.
That is true. Everyone knows that.
Everyone should know that. We have our Canadian flags on us at all times.
I think it's our nondescript news anchor accent that everyone kind of just goes, "Oh, these people."
Mid-Atlantic.
Rob gets in a boot every once in a while out there.
Does he?
Yeah, I notice it.
Oh, Rob, come on.
It's my
Come on.
it's my tribute to our Canadian brothers.
And then Jack says sorry a lot.
Sorry is one
Sorry.
of my. I've
don't
been
say
known to say I'm getting dickered on a Mickey, and yeah, it's.
I say A.
All right, but that's it. I just wanted to point out that there's CyberWorks only for Canadians that Americans have been denied.
Well, I'm going to point out on page 25, if we scroll down to the bottom here, we got some more sexy time. This is great entire rules with Master Scribe. I was like, when I first saw this, I was just scrolling by and I'm like, why is there a Conan
Why is
or
it
a
a tank top?
Rambo? I was like, why is a Rambo on this ad? But no, this is Emily and Robert Love, creators of Master Scribe, and their provocative.
Is this like a
photo
database
shoot.
or something?
It is a computer program that helps you build cities and create thousands of characters, give details on multitudes of items, and organize rules that govern your universe. So it is some kind of database.
Gotta be a database.
But it's so funny that I was just like, what the?
They do look like a Beastmaster knockoff.
Yeah.
Or they look like a European metal band.
Yeah,
But-
that too. Vixen.
But the truth is, they made spreadsheets for role playing games. So
Yeah, that was when I was like, what the? And then what the?
When they're not on tour with Ronnie James Dio, they're programming databases.
And it seems that Matt Love, probably brother of Robert Love, also created a Intrigues in Antinetium. It's a database adventure for use with Master Scribe. I don't know what that means. What a database adventure is, but there you go. These guys are probably, they're like geeks who are computer programmers, and they
Intrigue and Antietam.
they like
What is
to,
Antietam?
other than the place where in Civil War there was a battle.
That's what it looks like.
It's not how it's spelled though. Anyways, these guys just did a photo shoot. He probably was like, they're into their cosplay in the weekends, and they're geeks in real life, but they want to look tough in their ad. So they did this great. And meanwhile, you can see a lot of the girl is just like a black mass, which I think is funny. They're not selling sex unless you're into sexy guys.
LARPers in the streets, data entry experts in the sheets.
They'll be LARPing.
They're from
LARPing in the
Freeport,
street.
Illinois, Pat. Is Freeport, Illinois near you?
I think it's far.
You can't go visit them then.
No.
Well, they're not probably alive. We all know
No,
that.
clearly they've passed to the great beyond.
I would assume cocaine overdose.
Actually, it's not that far. We on our way to we drove by it.
Bingo
on our
card
way-
out.
we drove by it on our way to Noel Night, Rob.
Oh, it's up that way.
Yeah.
Anyways, any more ads? This wasn't many ads in this magazine.
I have two more.
Oh, good. Pat,
Wow.
Jack, do you have any more ads?
Oh, good, did you say? This has got to be a week-long episode, and you're saying
We're not even up to 40
content?
minutes yet.
This is a crossover we're gonna have our 1 hour, and then we're gonna go on to the other show where we invade their space for a little bit, like the Magnum PI crossovers.
That one's only for Patreon, though. So.
Yeah.
So what page are we going to?
Page 2.
Pat always picks the new one. It's coming.
It's coming. I don't know what it is. What could it be? Any guesses?
It's a new version of Dungeon, I assume.
Is it though?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, it doesn't give me enough.
It literally says take the new Dungeons and Dragons game challenge.
Oh, is this the thing Jack was just talking about? This might be that new box set with the cards. This might be an ad for that.
Learn to survive Dungeons and Dragons.
That's easy to learn. That's why I think it's selling me on what Jack was talking about.
Rob cracked the code. I think that's what it is.
All right, that's what we're gonna go with, and we'll see if we're right. I don't know when. It says in just a few months.
It's coming soon.
And then my last one is gonna be real quick. 116.
From the front to the back.
Yep.
Another one of these cartoony ads from they're doing this now, eh?
Well, maybe we're picking up we're looking into the drawers of the art department.
Well, I think what it is they probably like, we don't want to pay these artists to make beautiful painted renditions of these scenes. Let's just pay them to make comic book art. So
yeah.
It looks like a black and white art that someone did, like a Holloway or something like that, and then someone like Pat perhaps
colored it in
colored it in like his manual.
My monster manual.
Yeah, but it's not bad.
No. It's just different art stylism.
Yeah.
But barring the picture, this is Undermountain, the Ninja and the Undermountain for Forgotten Realms. So this is where you start to see a whole lot of the drow and the mind flayers and all those other things starts to come into play.
This is underwater deep.
Yep. Down and dirty. In water deep.
Yep.
Sounds like a weekend I had in Vegas.
It's 2,000 dungeon chambers detailed in this book. Wow.
2 handbooks.
Crazy.
Also by our longtime listener, longtime friend, Dr.
Yes.
Greenwood.
It is anything with Forgotten Realms. If his name's not on it, it's not quality.
Exactly.
Anything else to talk about, boys?
No,
that's it.
One of my favorite Dragon magazines right here, and I think it was a good one. Yeah. Please like, share, subscribe. Jack Point. There you go. He's pointing at his name. And comment on this magazine if you enjoyed it also. It's look at Pat's turning off the lights. He's ready to go. It's closing time.
Is that better?
Both of you look like you're
there. How about that? Is that better?
Jack looks like he's Zardoz over there.
The penis is bad. The gun is good.
Yep. Anyways, please tell us if you agree with Jack's statements, and if not, tell him that too. He will read everything. He reads everything.
All the comments. He loves to.
He does. He lies. He loves the comments.
He faints like he hates it, but he is quite upset when there's no comments.
It's true. And if you like these shenanigans, we also do another show without Jack, because who wants him, called Mobile Armor Radio.
I like Jack.
Mobile Armor Radio, all about giant mechs. So if you like this magazine with giant mechs in it, you can come over to watch us on the YouTube's Mobile
Armor Radio.
Until next time, next week we will be talking about 167. And I think it'll be a new year for us. So if it isn't already, it's really close. So
yeah, it'll be close.
Until then, I've been Rob.
I'm Jack.
I'm Chopper.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
In the year 2025.